values your alone time, or must you always have someone around you? Are you one of those people that can never not have a man or not have a woman around you? Well, today we're going to be exploring a very engaging topic, finding peace in solitude. Welcome to The Mirror. I am Rhonda Girodi, your personal development coach. This video is for all of you souls out there, especially if you've been curious about your personality, your temperaments, and understanding yourself better. As usual, we're going to approach this exciting topic from the perspective of the fascinating world of our personality temperaments. Now, I know it's been a minute, so let me give you a quick reminder of the four temperaments. We have the sanguine, the melancholic, the phlegmatic, and the choleric. This brand new series will run for the next couple of weeks, and I hope to shed some light on some areas that are relevant to your personal growth and, of course, your development. This series, we're going to discuss topics that will help you build self-reliance, resistance, and resilience, all with the objective to gain self-mastery. Yes, that's a bit of a tongue twister, I know. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me share a personal story. So as a child, I think I enjoyed my alone time, but when I think about it, I often wonder if I was content or if I was just very lonely. In my late 20s, I remember a season where I just didn't want to be alone and I couldn't do anything on my own. I hated it. That led me to make some poor choices. Once I learned about the concept of personality temperaments, I saw how that kind of shaped some of these experiences. So let me tell you what we'll be getting into today. We'll talk about some of the benefits of being alone and some of the dangers associated with always needing someone. Now, if you think you're someone who's fine being on their own, and so this exempts you from this topic, even if you're okay being alone, you can still exhibit some very toxic, unhealthy traits, and I'll tell you all about that. We're also going to talk about some of the ways that we can learn to be content alone and how the temperaments influences our perspective on all of these issues. I'll also talk to you about a very toxic situation I found myself in and the very strange date I went on to get out of it. I also have some useful resources, and you'll find some links in the descriptions of this video. So let's start off with talking about the benefits of being able to be content alone. You have self-discovery. Being alone allows for time for introspection and self-exploration, leading to a better understanding of yourself. There's also increased creativity. Solitude will spark your creativity and your innovation. So it provides space and time for our imaginations to produce limitless, unfiltered thoughts and ideas. So for me, I do that when I'm walking. I call it my mind's playtime. I let my thoughts run wild. I think about whatever I want, and I imagine the most fantastical things. There's also improved mental well-being. So appreciating time spent alone as an opportunity to improve your self-awareness. It'll help you reduce your stress, your anxiety, and of course, feelings of loneliness. Yes, that's what I said. Learning to be alone can help you feel less lonely. I know it sounds like an oxymoron, but it actually does work. Enhanced relationships. Being content alone can lead to healthier, less codependent relationships with other people. Choosing to spend time alone can be a huge psychological boon. Now, the following are examples of some of the potential dangers associated with always needing people. So let's jump into that. Codependency in relationships. This can show up in a lot of different ways. Now, sometimes it's almost like an addiction to someone or constantly needing someone else for your emotional validation. And that can lead to unhealthy, damaging relationships. There's also the loss of your independence, always relying on somebody else for company or even to make your decisions. That can really erode your own sense of independence. You have missed opportunities for growth. When you avoid time alone, that will prevent you from discovering yourself and allowing you to go further. And of course, the mental health struggles. The fear of being alone can contribute to stress, anxiety, and other mental health issues. Now, most personality temperament styles have some level of ability to be alone inherently, and they're okay with that to some degree. This can prove to be invaluable to your personal growth. Now, on the flip side, in some circumstances where individuals have difficulty or an inability or even a fear of being alone, that's when it can become very unhealthy and even toxic. So let's see how each temperament style feels about being alone based on their natural personality traits. To start off, cholerics and sanguines are natural extroverts, and they generally prefer being around people. So just a reminder, cholerics are the dominant ones. So our choleric friends don't mind being alone as they appreciate the opportunity to reflect on their goals and their strategies. But balance is key. So they have to be able to set realistic goals so they don't overload their schedules because they're trying to accomplish so much. Mindfulness practices can help them be more appreciative and more present during their alone time. They can cultivate hobbies they enjoy, and that can be very relaxing. And they can also add a new dimension to their solitude with some of those relaxing activities. So imagine this, a high achieving person who uses solitude to plan their next career move. That's one of the ways that a choleric can benefit. Okay. Sanguines, that's our social butterflies. They naturally love being around people and they don't really like being alone. However, they can experience personal growth and creativity during their alone time. Um, and this is one of the areas where practice can definitely help improve things. So if they dedicate time to themselves, that can help a sanguine gradually build comfort with being in their own space and embrace those moments. One of the things they can do to reduce that risk of feeling alone or lonely or isolated is to maintain some sort of social connection alongside the alone time. So it kind of helps to strike a little bit of balance for them. So, for example, they can be alone, but do it in a public place. They can use that time maybe to journal, reflect on their thoughts, their feelings. All of that can help them gain more comfort when they're learning to be alone. One of the ways a sanguine can benefit, for example, with their alone time is imagine an extroverted, social digital marketer or an entrepreneur who they choose to embrace their solitude. And in that time, they come up with a brilliant new marketing campaign, or the entrepreneur gets this wonderful, lucrative new business idea. Important, and hear me well, being alone doesn't have to be lonely. Phlegmatics and melancholics, on the other hand, are natural introverts. They generally prefer to not be around too many people. But it doesn't mean that an unhealthy attachment to a toxic person or situation doesn't still exist. Phlegmatics, they're the super chill, easygoing ones, right? Phlegmatics need peace. Consequently, solitude is an opportunity to gain mental and spiritual focus, emotional understanding, and helps them to reduce stress. Phlegmatics can pursue things like art and music, maybe even writing to try to make use of their alone time. They need to be mindful about the amount of time they spend at any one instance performing an activity, because they have a tendency to be very overly engrossed in something that they enjoy doing. So how does a phlegmatic benefit? Consider the calm, collected person who uses their alone time for meditation and prayer and to feel connected with themselves and with God. That, my friends, is priceless. Let's talk about the melancholics. These are the analytical, very artistic type. Melancholic individuals dive deep into intellectual pursuits, emotional processing, and creative expression when they're alone. This can help them develop emotional intelligence to better understand and manage their feelings during their alone time. Imagine a writer or an artist or a music producer who finds solitude in their own world while creating, a beautiful musical piece, crafting an amazing story, or producing an amazing work of art, right? Because melancholics have a natural tendency to be alone, to be able to create some balance, I like to encourage them to connect with other like-minded people, maybe through groups or clubs or even some sort of informal setting. In case of persistent loneliness, please seek help through therapy or counseling or whatever other means that's comfortable to you. All right. So let's talk about some general recommendations to help us learn to be content alone. Practice mindfulness and gratitude exercises to stay present and appreciate the current moment when you're alone. And by gratitude exercise, I mean like take a minute. What are you grateful for today? Who are you grateful for this week? What about your life are you grateful for because you're not where you were last year? Or maybe what do you have to look forward to? What are you grateful for that's coming your way? All right, so take the time, be present, think about these things. Set boundaries. It's important to set boundaries to protect your alone time and to prioritize your self-care. And by setting boundaries, I mean set boundaries with yourself. First of all, create a time, a dedicated time and a space for you to be alone, but also set boundaries with your friends and your family. Let them know that, during this time or on such and such a day, I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z. Protect that time. Explore hobbies, find a new passion, revive an old one. Try anything that brings you some level of joy that you can do alone. Remember that I am advocating for developing an appreciation for dedicated alone time, not being lonely. So, for those of you who are struggling with severe loneliness, please, I beg you, seek therapy, counseling, find a pastor, a rabbi, a close friend, someone, speak to someone. So, let's shift gears a little bit. What did I do when I could not be alone? Many years ago, as I mentioned, I found myself in a situation where I needed to cut off a very unhealthy friendship, but I'd gotten to the stage where I just could not be alone. I just didn't know how, and I hated it. So after a long work week, I was physically tired, emotionally drained. I wanted to hang out with someone. So this person, I kind of want to say, took advantage of that, and they made a point of being available and always offered to do something super fun. I realized that I was getting stuck in this toxic cycle because I consistently made the poor decision of being with that person. I decided to take drastic action because I needed to put a stop to this. Now, I don't know where this idea came from. I don't know how I thought of it, but here's what I did. I set a date with Jesus every Friday night. Yes, with Jesus. That's what I said. And I took it very seriously. I put that on my calendar. I prepared for it, and I was never late. So when this person would reach out, I would truthfully say that I had a date. I would spend the time praying, listening to worship music, dancing, reading my Bible, talking endlessly to the Lord. And at first, it was okay. It really was. But then I started to really look forward to my Friday dates. I couldn't get home fast enough on a Friday night. And before long, I wasn't only okay being alone, but I loved it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Because the truth is, I was alone, but was I really alone? I wasn't, was I? And just like that, I shifted my focus and my life changed. I'm not even exaggerating. I no longer made poor decisions to be with people that really had no business being in my life anymore. I was free, finally, and you can be free too. Our temperaments play a significant role in how we perceive and how we utilize our alone time. You don't need to be stuck in an addictive or toxic relationship. Whether you're choleric, sanguine, phlegmatic, melancholic, there is a unique path to contentment in solitude for you. It's waiting for you. So it's time to cut the cord. Different personalities will benefit in a lot of different ways. Some might gain mental clarity, others emotional balance, and still others, like me, I gained spiritual focus. There's nothing wrong with being with people or needing people. We all need people. This is about having the power to pull away from the wrong people and not stay in relationships that are harmful simply because you cannot be on your own. This is about taking your power and control back. We love people as we love ourselves, not more than. All right? If you found this video helpful or insightful, don't forget to hit that like or subscribe button, follow, whatever the case may be. So for more content on self-discovery and personal growth, hit that button. Let me be your life or personal coach or personal development coach, whatever you need. I would appreciate the opportunity to support you and help you live your best life. As the well-known life coach Tony Robbins would say in his motivational speeches, identify your problems, but give your energy and time to the solutions. If you want to know more about your temperament, you'll find a link to a free test and a guide in the post or the description. Do you find contentment in being alone? Please share your thoughts, put it in the comments, or if you feel more comfortable, send me an email at ronda@rondajarodi.com. I would really appreciate the opportunity to interact with you and to connect with you and to hear your thoughts. Please remember, understanding your temperament and how it influences your perspectives, your dispositions, choices, and decisions. It's just the beginning of a fascinating journey toward a more fulfilling life. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next episode of The Mirror. Till next week, Wednesday, have the best week ever.